Hey Chloe, I wanted to talk to you about your paper. Overall, you have a very strong paper. Your format looks good. You have a very clear thesis map, so that really helps with the organization. You're using your sources correctly. I'm still a little bit confused about that H&M website. I don't believe you ever sent me that direct link for me to go and look at to be able to properly advise you on that. So before you go forward with this next paper, if you do something like that, then let me look at that, because H&M, if I'm correct, H&M is a clothing store. So when I'm looking at that, it's like, was that from the actual H&M like clothing store website? But then down here you say H&M student, not student, design student. Was that the title, or was it an actual student? So this one is unclear. I don't think you're very far off, so I wouldn't beat yourself up over it. But I would like for you to send me the direct link so I could address that further. And if you have and I overlooked it, then my apologies. So let's go back up, look at your paper here. First thing I do when I grade these papers is I go through and I look to see if you used your sources throughout your paper and if I'm seeing a variation of how you're doing that. So I'm scrolling through and I see here and here, good. This paragraph, you have a direct quote. This one probably could have used another since it's a longer paragraph, probably could have used another source. You have good transitions in between your paragraphs. According to Times newspaper, direct quote here. You didn't need to put the whole title, very long, another direct quote. Looking at this paragraph, direct quote. The parentheses, not the parentheses, the quotes, they go here. I don't think you did that on your other ones. I'm noticing just direct quotes, and that's only 1/3 of what you were supposed to do. That's why we had the paraphrasing and the summarizing, because you have to use all three. You have to use direct quotes, you have to use paraphrasing, and you have to use summarizing, and you only have the direct quotes. So when you go forth with this next paper, you want to make sure that you're doing that, because that's why your biggest point deduction is going to come from only using one type of in-text citation. We're excited here. It looks good. You put the date you accessed it. You have it in alphabetical order. So I am not concerned about this. Just would like clarification on if it was a design student actually, or if it was that's the title. If this is the title, then you have done that correct. But if it's not the title, and I think it's just because it's design student, and that's just where I'm thinking, was it an actual student with a name, or is that the title? If it's the title, you're all good. So and I don't want you to, again, I've already said it, but I don't want you to spend too much time worrying about that. So what I want you to work on for the next paper is varying up how you're using your sources and not relying just on direct quotes. Get your number higher. So if you go, you're 23%, and it's because, and also you're only allowed to have 2 lines of a direct quote per page. And here you have one, we'll say 3, really 4, 3.5, 4 lines here. You have another direct quote. So this is not plagiarism because you did cite it, but it's just too much. Again, you're only allowed to have 2 lines. And also when it's longer like this, when it's more than 4 lines, you have to use a block quote. And we're not doing that because you're only allowed two lines of a direct quote per page. So that's what I want you to work on. Your writing style's good, your grammar's good, you have the thesis down, all of that. So I want you to work on paraphrasing and summarizing. If you have any questions, let me know.